Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we are going to be talking about Asmira, the Holy Avenger. She's from Mirage. I don't know that she ever got reprinted anywhere, but she has kind of a quirky little, she's a 2/3 flyer for 4. At the end of each turn, put a 1/1 counter on her for each creature put into your graveyard that turn. Now, what I did with her a long time ago, there was a deck called, oh shoot, what was it, Pebbles? I believe it had red in it. But I think here we can do the same thing with white and green. And pretty much here it is. Now, a lot of this, it works with her, but it also works without her. Enduring Renewal, enchantment from Ice Age, it got time shifted. You play with your hand revealed. Yeah, you can't draw any more creatures, but whenever a creature would be put into the graveyard from play, you return it to your hand. Now, that's awesome because it does actually make it to the graveyard for Asmira's ability. So it hits and then it's back to the hand. So we need a creature that's fairly cheap to cast, like these guys, the Shield Sphere, the Phyrexian Walker, and the Ornithopter. All of these are 0-drop creatures. Now, so we play them, we sack them, they automatically come back to our hand. But wait, how do we sack them? We're going to sack them to the Ashnod's Altar. We're going to generate a ridiculous amount of mana here. This is an infinite loop, guys. I mean, that's just how it is. In the old deck, we use Goblin Bombardment, but that's red, so we're using here. Now, obviously, a good chunk of the deck is looking for artifacts and enchantments. We've got all the tutors you could think of, and I actually went a step further because here I use this one just because it's cutesy. I used Celestial Dawn back in originally, then it got time shifted, so then we had access to foils, but I use this as a mana fixing, just in case you get color screwed one way or the other. That's a whole lot of words to be just pretty much everything's white and the colors don't matter. But one thing that I like to use with Celestial Dawn, and just about any deck that I'm using, obviously Celestial Dawn in, I'm going to put the Armored Ascension in. But also has some other things that, what if you had her in play? One of the Soul Sisters, well, actually I've got both the Soul Sisters in here, Essence Warden and the Soul Warden. But when a creature comes into play, you gain a life. Pretty good. And then, of course, we have a Johnny's Pride mate here. Whenever you gain life, he gets a counter as well. Now, have a lot of dudes that actually sack themselves for an effect. So this way, if you've got them in hand or in play, you can repeatedly fog. You can repeatedly destroy enchantments. You can repeatedly, fish out your lands. Fog again. Make your guys indestructible. Now, Garrick's Horde actually gets around the whole Enduring Renewal if you would draw, because it says you may play the top card of your library if it's a creature. Well, you're not drawing it, so it is a great thing to have the Horde out. Yes, he's 7 mana, but he is a 7/7 trample. Not a lot of folks mess with him. And we have a lot of stuff that either, when it comes into play, here again, we're gaining life. Things, when they come into play, we are doing something like destroying or drawing or just making stuff big. Obviously, we have the Eternal Witness because this is great to use repeatedly. Hey, let's team pump every time that you get a a creature in. Now you're casting those spells, by the way, so it's all good. Court Street Denizen, here again. Let's see what else we got here. We got Rebuff the Wicked. I know it's kind of off the wall and I just grabbed it, but this is a card that I think, I'm starting to play this card in Legacy now on the few times I do play, because this is a card that nobody sees coming. Just pretty good. Obvious amounts of removal with O-Ring and whatnot. We have also we've got the stuff that brings creatures back directly from the yard to play. So those are a real asset. Now, let's see. What have we got? Anything else here that's cool? Obviously, we're going to have tutor effects like the Congregation at Dawn. You know what? This Genesis guy, this is really neat. Not a lot of people know about him. If he's in the yard during your upkeep, you can pay 3 and return a creature from your yard to your hand. Now, it does only trigger once, but you're getting a creature back every upkeep. There's a lot of decks that could use this. I love Genesis. I know I don't talk a lot about the non-basic lands that I use, but I want to talk about these just simply because I haven't yet. Judgment gave us 2 cards, and this is absolutely neat. It does tap for a colorless, but as long as this is in the graveyard, your lands have tap to add both. That is remarkable. There's, a ton of ways to get lands in the graveyard. I use Harrow a lot. I use the buyback Fog. There's a lot of ways to get a land. Is there an orb? But I really thought the Riftstone Portal was neat. Thought y'all would like to see it. And of course, the same set gave us Crows and Verge. Obviously, this is the Archenemy version. It's really, really neat. Now, this one is a little better for the higher tier EDH decks, I think, because it allows you to go get a forest and a plains. Notice it does not say the word basic in there anywhere, so you can go get your Rav duels or your original duels. So that's why I like me some Crows and Verge. So with all that mana and sacking, we're going to need a good mana dump. Mana dumps do not get any better than Staff of Domination. I know we've talked about this before, but with that kind of mana and these kind of abilities, you get to do all the things. I like to do all the things forever. It's beautiful. Anyway, that's all I got for today. That is Asmira, Holy Combo. Yes, it is a one-trick pony. It is many, many ways to disrupt it, but let's face it, there are days that you need to sit down. Maybe you've just, wrecked the table with your crazy deck, and you just need to sit down and have fun and see what happens. That's where she comes in. I like her a lot. She is, of course, one ring to rule them all. I think most of my commanders are in that sleeve. But anyway, Asmira's good. Appreciate y'all for watching. Be sure and like, share. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Let me know what kind of decks you're looking for, and we'll just keep going. But as for right now, it is time to shuffle and cut.